Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Legend and I am back with another video. What if Naruto sealed himself for 7,000 years to save everyone part 11? If you guys enjoyed this video and you want more of this type of content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. The like goal for the video was going to be 8 likes. If we could hit that, that would be nice. If we could get more, that would be fantastic. But right now, let's get into this little shout out that I got. Shout out to my little brother, man. I only got 2 comments on the last video. Yeah, it's really nothing. But he's the only one who actually got the challenge correct. He named all 4 women in that picture perfectly. So shout out to him. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. Morning came softly through the high windows of the mountain temple, thin streaks of sunlight spilling across the stone floor and brushing against the edge of the bed where Naruto lay. The air was cool, touched by the scent of pine drifting in from the open terrace doors. He stirred with a quiet groan, his body stretching instinctively after a long night's rest. The sheets rustled faintly as he rolled his shoulders and turned his head to the left. There, curled against his side, was Azula. Her dark hair spilled loosely over the pillow, a few strands resting against his arm. The faintest smile played on her lips, rare, soft, unguarded. For a moment, Naruto just watched her breathe, each rise and fall of her chest, calm and steady. He should have smiled too, maybe even felt at ease seeing her that way, but something made his expression falter. He felt a faint tug of dampness beneath the sheets. When he pulled them back slightly, his eyes caught the faded, rust-colored stains marring the once white fabric. His brows drew together. Naruto glanced down at himself first. He was still wearing his black boxers, the rest of his body bare except for a few light scratches along his shoulders and back, lightly from the rougher parts of last night's closeness. His eyes trailed back toward Azula. She lay on her side, one arm tucked under the pillow, wearing only a dark blue bra and matching panties. At first, she looked perfectly fine, but when Naruto's gaze lowered, he noticed faint, dried streaks of blood on her inner thighs, and a small spot near her waist where the sheets had clung to her skin. He bit the inside of his cheek, exhaling through his nose. "Great," he murmured quietly to himself, rubbing the back of his neck. "That's not good." He didn't move right away. He stood there at the edge of the bed, staring down at the scene with uncertainty written all over his face. The situation wasn't exactly unfamiliar. Living with women as long as he had, he knew what a menstrual cycle was, but dealing with it this directly, especially after how fragile Azula could be in moments like this, left him unsure of what to do. Should he wake her up? Or should he just quietly take care of it somehow? Maybe he could go ask June for advice. But the thought of doing that, and then having Azula find out he'd gone to someone else about something so personal, made his stomach twist. He sighed again and started gathering the stained sheets, folding them up carefully and tossing them into a small laundry bin near the wall. He turned toward the adjoining washroom, thinking maybe he should shower first, but he stopped halfway to the door. His blue eyes flicked back to Azula. Her breathing was steady, peaceful. She looked like she hadn't slept that deeply in years. Naruto leaned against the doorway, dragging a hand down his face. "Man, what am I supposed to do with you?" he murmured softly. Then came a familiar, velvety voice in his head, smooth, teasing, and very feminine. "Just wake her up and tell her, you idiot." Naruto froze mid-step. "Kurama," he whispered under his breath. "Don't act so shocked. You've got 2 hands and a voice. Use one of them. Besides," the fox spirit's tone curved into something sly, "you both need to shower anyway. You didn't exactly do that after your little bonding session last night." Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose. "Can you not phrase it like that right now?" Kurama only chuckled in the back of his mind, her amusement echoing faintly before fading away again. Taking a breath, Naruto approached the bed. He crouched down beside Azula and hesitated for a brief moment. Her expression was so calm, her features so delicate in the early light. He hated the idea of waking her from that peace, but he also couldn't just let her wake up later and find the mess herself. That would only make things worse. He reached out a hand and placed it gently on her shoulder, giving a light nudge. "Azula," he said softly. She stirred, her brow furrowing slightly. As her eyes blinked open, golden irises flicked unfocused for a second before settling on his face. "Naruto?" she murmured, her voice husky with sleep. "Morning," he said quietly, managing a small smile. "We should, probably shower. Wash up." Azula blinked again, confused by his tone. She started to sit up, only to pause as a faint sharpness tightened in her abdomen. She winced, clutching her stomach briefly. "What?" She stopped, glancing down. She saw the faint red marks on her thighs. Her eyes widened, a little realization coming in. "Oh," she breathed, her voice small. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. "Yeah. Don't worry about it. It happens to everyone. I'll, take care of the sheets later." Azula's face went pink, her pride and composure momentarily slipping. She turned her head away, hiding the faint embarrassment burning at her cheeks. Naruto pretended not to notice, just standing there awkwardly, waiting. After a moment, she gave a faint sigh and whispered, "Thank you." Naruto's eyes softened, his usual warmth returning. "Come on," he said, gently extending his hand toward her. "Let's get cleaned up." And though she hesitated for a second, pride warring with vulnerability, Azula took his hand. The morning sunlight caught her face just then, illuminating the smallest, shyest smile she'd ever worn as he helped her to her feet. It was a quiet, human moment between 2 people who rarely allowed themselves such peace. Meanwhile, in the Fire Nation capital, the echo of shattering glass filled the meeting chamber as Zuko's desk slammed against the tiled floor, papers scattering like startled birds, flames dancing briefly across his fingertips before dying out just as suddenly. The result? A fury restrained only by exhaustion. The Fire Lord stood amidst the chaos he'd made, chest heaving, his face illuminated by the golden light bleeding through the high windows. "Damn it!" he roared, his voice ricocheting off of the stone walls. "How did she slip away again?" The room offered no answer. Zuko's breath came out in ragged bursts, his scarred eye twitching as he glared down at the wreckage of what had once been an organized desk covered in reports and maps. His mind replayed the scene from the day before, the quiet, abandoned clearing near Ba Sing Se, the faint traces of campfire ash, and the still warm footprints in the dirt. He had arrived only hours too late. Hours. He clenched his fist so tightly that the skin along his knuckles cracked. To him, Azula wasn't just a fugitive. She was his failure, his burden, his sister. The living proof that no matter how much good he tried to do, the shadows of his family would always follow him. And now, the unknown shinobi, this Naruto, had taken her away. Zuko's jaw flexed as his thoughts darkened. That man was a mystery wrapped in danger, an outsider with power that didn't belong in their world. Zuko had seen the reports, the way Naruto's strange energy could level trees, shatter stone, and extinguish fire like it was nothing. Someone like that couldn't be left unchecked. To cage or to kill, Zuko muttered under his breath. There's no other option. A sharp knock broke the silence. He snapped his head toward the door. What? The double doors creaked open, revealing a young guard with soot still on his armor from the morning drills. The man hesitated before speaking, clearly aware of his ruler's foul mood. Sir, I think you should come out. You need to see this. Zuko stared at him for a long moment, then released a slow, tired sigh. Fine. Just give me a minute. The guard nodded and retreated. Zuko took a few steadying breaths and looked around the room. The overturned desk, the scattered scrolls, the cracked ink jar bleeding black across the floor. It all looked like the inside of his own mind, chaos restrained only by discipline. He crouched, picking up one of the maps, smoothing it out with delicate care before setting it aside. With a few practice motions, he righted the desk, gathered the loose papers, and set the Fire Nation insignia back at the center. When he finally stepped out of the room, his expression was calm again, or at least it appeared that way. Outside, the morning heat pressed down on a palace courtyard, warping the air in soft, wavering lines. Soldiers and handlers stood at a distance, whispering among themselves as Zuko approached. The courtyard had been cleared, and in its center stood a creature unlike anything Zuko had seen in years. It was massive, larger than a polar bear dog, with a body built low to the ground and thick, leathery skin the color of red clay. Its face resembled that of a mole, though the snout was longer and rigid with sensory grooves that twitched as it sniffed the air. Its eyes were milky white, sightless, but Zuko knew better than to underestimate it. The creature shifted slightly, sniffing toward him, its tongue long, barbed, and a deep purple hue flicked out, tasting the air. Zuko's lips curled into a slow, dangerous smile. Is that what I think it is? One of the handlers nodded, bowing his head respectfully. Yes, Fire Lord. A Shirshu, the last of its kind. From the northern mountains, it hunts by scent alone. No sight, no sound, only smell. They say it can follow a trail weeks old, even across water and stone. Zuko circled the beast slowly, studying its rippling muscles and massive claws that dug faint grooves into the marble tile. The creature exhaled, releasing a low rumble that vibrated in its chest. Perfect. Has it been fed? Zuko asked. Yes, my lord. Zuko looked down at the small pouch in the handler's hand. A cloth bag sealed with wax. What's that? The scent sample, sir, the man replied. From the mansion near Ba Sing Se. There was some cloth and a few strands of hair. 2 distinct scents, female and male. We believe it's the princess and the outsider. Zuko reached for the pouch, weighing it in his hand. He could almost see the path ahead now, the trail through the forest, the confrontation waiting somewhere far from the capital. He clenched the bag in his fist. Good, he said quietly, eyes hardening. Prepare a transport unit. I want my best firebenders armed and ready within the hour. If they're still anywhere near Ba Sing Se, this thing will find them. The handler hesitated, his voice cautious. And when it does, Fire Lord, what are your orders? Zuko turned his gaze toward the horizon, where the distant line of the mountains shimmered in the heat. Bring my sister back alive. Chain her if you have to. But if the outsider resists? His voice trailed off, the rest unspoken, but the men understood. Burn him. The handlers bowed low, scattering to carry out their orders. Zuko remained where he stood, the faint sunlight gleaming against his scar, as the Shirshu lifted its nose to the wind, already catching the scent of its distant prey. A grim satisfaction flickered across Zuko's face. This time, he thought, she won't escape me. Back with Naruto. The blonde god rested on his back as he looked up at the clouds and blue sky from the roof of the temple. He was thinking about his own strength, about how far he had come since he was that 13-year-old brat. Now, he didn't even know if he could call himself human. He slowly sat up, letting his guard down as he looked down at his slightly tanned hands. With a single breath, he released the genjutsu that was on his appearance. In the blink of an eye, his skin turned pale white. His hair went from blonde to white. His fingernails turned black, and a slit opened up on his forehead, revealing a third eye, a red Rene Sharingan. Naruto breathed, his skin feeling 5 times more sensitive. He had a woman falling for him, yet he didn't even know if he was still human, or if he was sterile or not from the massive influx of power that he was keeping at bay. He then heard footsteps behind him as he turned to see June. He quickly turned back and reapplied the genjutsu over his appearance. He stood and turned, walking, going to walk past her. She already had a low opinion of him, and he didn't want it to worsen. June stopped him by placing a hand on his chest. Wait, what was that? Naruto blinked, looking down at her. What do you mean? June pointed up and down at Naruto. Naruto only held his breath as she spoke. Don't try to make me feel crazy. I already feel bad enough. Naruto sighed and looked away as he let the genjutsu fall. June gasped and stepped back, shocked at what she was seeing. Naruto didn't reach for her. He only spoke. Do I scare you? June blinked. What? No, I think it looks beautiful. Look, I came here because I wanted to apologize for what I said. I was completely out of line, and I let my emotions get the better of me. It's just, I really like you, and I didn't want you to leave me. Naruto nodded, and he put his genjutsu back on to cover his true look, and June spoke. Does Azula know? Naruto stayed quiet before shaking his head. Not all of it. She knows I have a godly being sealed inside of me, but she doesn't know my true appearance. June nodded and looked off into the distance with him. Then, show her. I'm sure she'll understand after all. She's in love with you. Naruto said nothing, and June spoke again. I miss Nyla. Naruto looked at her. Who? June looked at him. My Shirshu. I named her Nyla. Haven't seen her since I met you and Azula that day. I left her outside, but the next day I couldn't find her. I thought she just went off to go hunt, but now it just, I don't know. But guys, I'm going to end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.